Hey, this is Mike, and this video is about the site structure. The site structure is where you'll create and manage and arrange the different pages for your website. You're not really dealing with the content of the pages yet. It's really just the locations and how they relate to one another. So I already have a kind of dummy site set up here with a site structure and a navigation and stuff just for demonstration purposes. So if you're starting from scratch, don't expect this all to be here or anything to be showing up on the front end. We'll get into how to get it all together in other videos, but I just want to show you the site structure in action and demonstrate some stuff here. Okay, so I just moved the front end into a separate window here, so you can see the front end and the back end at the same time. So it's fairly straightforward. What you have in the site structure is mirrored in the navigation of the site. So and you can use these controls here to move things around or manage them in other ways. So let me just jump in here and let's try to move one of the pages. You use this blue arrow to do that. So let's say I want to move the dogs to be after the other animals in the site structure. So I'll click the blue arrow, and that brings up these controls here, which let you select where it's going to go. So if I wanted to go put the dogs after other animals, I'd hit this one here so they'd be on the same level. So I'll do that. Now I'll refresh, and dogs should be after other animals now. And it is so. Now let's try something else. I'll hit the blue arrow to move dogs again. Let's say I want it to be a sub-page of other animals. That's where I use this arrow to put that within dogs, or within other animals, that is. So now you can see if you expand this, dogs is a sub-page of other animals. And there you have that. Okay, so let's just move that back out, and I'll put it where it was, which was on the same level as cats and other animals, but after cats. So there it is, back where it belongs. And so that's one thing, is moving them around. You can also duplicate pages. So if I have things set up on one page and I pretty much want to keep things as is, but don't want to redo all the work I did, hit the green arrow, and that's the same thing. You pick where you want it to go. You can change the settings however you want. We'll get into the settings in a bit. And there we have it. You can also choose to duplicate the page and its subpages. So if you have something like this, or there's two subpages of cats here, you could just select this and it'll duplicate the page and its subpages. So I'm going to delete that copy of the dogs page I just made, and that's simple. You just hit the X, hit OK, and it's gone. Another thing you can do here is unpublish or publish the pages here. So you hit this little green eye, and now what that's going to do is it doesn't delete the page or remove anything in the back end, but when you refresh here, you'll see that it's just hidden. So if you have something that's not ready for prime time, or you just want to hide for a while, you could do that, and then I'll click it again to publish it, and there it is, back again. Now sometimes you might want to hide the page from the navigation but still have it published, so it won't be showing up here, but you can still get to the page from other ways in the site, and that all the content will still be live. So to do that, you just go into the settings here, hit edit the page, that pencil icon, select hide from navigation, do that and save. Now when we refresh, you can see the page is still there. We're still on the dog page, and you can see it's still published here because that eye is still selected, but you don't see dog in the navigation. So that's how that's done. Now we'll just go back to the way it was. Unselect, hide from navigation. Now when we refresh, dogs is back in the navigation. This icon here shows you some details for the page if you just need to get some information about it. And this over here lets you edit the articles of that page. Articles is something that we'll get to in other videos, but it basically lets you jump to where you can manage some of the content. But that's really done in its own separate area, which is articles over here. We're not going to worry too much about that in this video. So we'll go back to the site structure. You can see it's taking me just to the dogs page. You use this breadcrumb nav to zoom back out in the site structure as far back as you want. That's just a handy thing. So if you are, say you're working on the cats page or something and you just want to simplify what you're seeing, you can click that and it takes you to that area of the site structure and filters everything else out. But it's still there. You just use the breadcrumb nav to get back out. So this pencil icon here lets you change the settings of the page. You can basically set the page name here. That's what you're going to get in your site structure and the URL itself. The alias is like it's a reference to the page that you can use instead of this ID number up here. If you're referencing in other parts of Contao, you don't necessarily need to worry about that. The page title is what will show up in the tab. So let's go to the dogs page here, and let's open another page and another tab. So you can see this is where the page title is. So let's just change it to be spelled DAWGS and refresh it. So the page name is still regular spelling of dogs, but the tab is DAWGS. So that's where the page title shows up. Let's change that back for consistency. And refresh that, and now it's gone back. This is also where you put in your SEO stuff, your page description with keywords, so that Google or other search engines can find the site. So you put in keywords like cool dogs. I'll just put in best dogs, rad dogs, or excellent dogs, or super dogs. Somebody might be trying to find super dogs. So that's that. I'll save that. Up here you have the page type. So that lets you select from this menu. Regular page is going to be just that. It's your regular page that's going to have its own content and everything. That's what most of these are set as. So let me go back. That's all these ones with this icon here are regular ones. You'll notice that this has a blue arrow, and that is because I have that set as an internal redirect. And all that does is when you click on contact, it will take you to a different page within the site structure, and you set that redirect page here. So I'll click that, and you'll see I have it going to the about page. So this is just hypothetically, I want people to be able to see a link for contact in the site structure, so it's easy for people to find. But I'm actually going to have my contact info on the about page. I don't want to have the information in two places, so I just want people to find that contact button easily, but then be redirected to the about page. So that's where you set it. And now let me just close out of this. You'll see it has that blue button there. And so if I go to contact, you see it's taking me to the about page. Similarly, you can do an external redirect. Let's make it that. And then you put in the link target. So let's just make that google.com. And you can choose to open it in a new window, so they're not leaving your site. So let's change that. Let's go back, and that's represented as a green arrow. So let's refresh the site. Now when we hit contact, it's open a new window that has Google. In addition to 404s and 403s, the other page type to be aware of is the website root, and that's what you see here with this icon. That's set here, website root, and that is it's just the starting point for the rest of your site. And you can see that name here is shown as the name of your site here. And up here, this is where you create a new page. Click there, say where you want to put it. You can toggle these things manually, or you could toggle all of them with this button here. And then you can, if there's something you want to do to a bunch of pages, hit edit multiple, and then you pick the pages that you want to affect, and then do whatever you want with them. If I wanted to delete all these pages, instead of doing it one by one, I could just click on all of these, hit the button, and I'd be done with it. Or you can also hit edit and then basically change a bunch of settings all at once. At this point, you might be thinking, what about the content? We've got pages and all that, but aren't pages supposed to have stuff on them? That's right, they are, but you don't really deal with that in the site structure itself. That's in articles and modules and all the stuff we'll get to in other videos. The only thing besides the names and stuff that we went over, the only thing that you're really dealing with that has to do with what you're seeing on the front end in the site structure is assigning a page layout, and that's done here. Okay, see here, assign a layout. We have a layout selected. And that's the hook that's going to pull in all the content that you're actually making in other areas. We'll get into what a page layout is and how it works, as well as articles and modules and all that content related stuff in other videos. But for now, all you really need to know is that if you don't have a layout assigned, nothing's going to show up on the front end. So every regular page you have needs a layout, and that's going to pull in all of the content. I'll just quickly show you where page layouts is. So if you go to themes, page layouts is this part here. You can create a new layout and edit the settings however many you want. It's really sort of just the type of page. So if you want to have all your inside pages have a navigation on the left and then the articles in the middle, or whatever, if every inside page is going to have sort of the same basic structure, you can set it there, and then when you go back to site structure and edit, anything you've created in page layouts will be shown here, and you just select which one you want. I'll also just quickly show you articles. You see the site structure we've made here, that shows up in articles as well. It has the structure of your site, and then all of these are the articles that go on that page. So for example, I have this kind of junk, the small cats page. But when you're managing that content, that part is in articles for your static content like this. And so you see your site structure there, but in the site structure itself, you're not really dealing with that content besides assigning a page layout. But we'll get into articles in other videos. So that's the site structure, more or less. You're just creating and managing your different locations that are going to be on your site, setting the metadata and stuff like that, and then just hooking it onto the content of your page, which is dealt with in other areas. That's about it.